What is going on, guys? It's Wraith here, back with another video. Now in today's video, it's not going to be a tips and trick video. It's going to be going over the best and worst seasons of Fortnite from season 1 all the way to season 9, ranking them from worst to best. And hopefully you guys do enjoy this video. Make sure before you watch this video, make sure you leave a like and also comment down below what your list would be of the best and worst Fortnite seasons, or even what's your favorite season and what's your least favorite season. I know a lot of you guys are probably going to say season 9 right now, no spoiler, but let's get right into the video and hopefully you guys enjoy. Coming in at number 9, we have the worst season of Fortnite, which a lot of you guys may be surprised in, is season 1. Now a lot of you guys might be like, isn't that the OG season and didn't everyone love it? And it was a pretty cool season because the game hadn't really got popular yet, but there was a lot of problems with it. The first one was no one knew how to play the game, so fights were really boring and unexciting because no one knew how to build. If you could edit a stair, you were an absolute god among the men and players. Also, there wasn't any big things in the map, there was no tilted towers, nothing like that. It was very, very bland, wasn't that many guns, and also there's tons of glitches in the game, which obviously ended up getting fixed. But there was just not too much to do, honestly. You could land somewhere, fight, and it would just be you'd shoot 10 times with your shotgun, or you'd go through 2 clips to try and kill someone with an SMG. There wasn't anyone really that good, and then no build fights or anything, so it was kind of a boring game. It was still a very cool idea, and this is what kind of put Fortnite on the map, because people are like, oh, this game has a good potential of actually becoming pretty popular. Now, the next season we have, which a lot of you guys probably guessed would be low on the list, is Season 9. And yes, that is the season we are in right now. And there's been quite a bit of controversy about this season, having tons and tons of players quitting, casual and competitive. We have tons of pros, even Tfue and stuff like that, saying that they don't even want to play Fortnite after the World Cup is done because this season ruined it and the game is just not doing too well right now. And with the removal of the pump shotgun, which everyone's favorite gun was the pump, I'm pretty sure 95% of the player bases love the pump. A lot of people just did not enjoy the game as much, as well as also having the addition of the drum gun back into the game, where it basically became you could run the drum gun and 4 heals and whatever. You didn't even need another gun, and you could just absolutely spray down the lobby and kill 10-15 people. Even in the competitive side, the drum gun was absolutely destroying people, as well as the balls are still in the game, which a lot of people thought were going to be taken out in Season 8. A lot of the competitive community did not enjoy the balls and still do not enjoy the balls to this day. Some of the normal community, just the pub players, do enjoy it a little bit. Honestly, I don't mind it, but I also don't think it should be in the game. Now, there is also a ton of glitches at this time of Season 9 that Fortnite has said they are going to be addressing, yet it hasn't been fixed yet, so we're still waiting on that. They have made a couple of good changes. They reduced the ballers' health, they dropped the drum gun a little bit, they nerfed it a little bit, and they did fix the slipstream, which people didn't like that much after, so it closed down in Season 5, or after the 5th zone. But yeah, that's basically it for Season 9. Let's move to the next one. For the next one, we have Season 5, which is very, very similar to Season 9, and it was the spray meta of Fortnite. Back then, this was the first time we were introduced to the drum gun and kind of the spray meta, where pumps and tacs and everything, those shotguns and heavy shotguns were all nerfed, so to the point where honestly you could run, again, either the drum gun or SMG even, and you didn't even have to run an AR or a shotgun because they would just absolutely clap kids. Now, this had a couple of good parts of the season, there was a rifts added, which was super cool, as well as the ATKs. You could move around the map, and it was super nice to move around the map like this, as well as the rift to go, obviously, is a huge part of today's game, and it was definitely a cool addition, as well as had a pretty good battle pass. But the spray part of it was just not too fun, and people were getting pretty frustrated, the fact where they try and build, and instantly you just get sprayed down and clapped. And also another kind of cool part about the season, but couldn't take away a part of the spray meta, was Kevin the Cube, which was a huge meme in Fortnite and everyone loved him. Rip Kevin the Cube in the comment if you're watching this, and let's get right into the next one. Now for the next one, we have the Season 6. And Season 6 was honestly not a bad season. A lot of people liked it, but there was also 2 things that made just almost everyone hate these specific things and made Season 6 go down the drain. One was a Fortnite Mirrors event, which was a Halloween event where almost for the entire season, or a couple weeks at least, there was just zombies across the entire map, and a lot of casual players, especially pro players, were not enjoying it because any single time you got into a fight, you would just be attacked by tons and tons of zombies, and you wouldn't be able to build because they'd break down your builds, and it was just a huge cluster, and no one really enjoyed that kind of part of it because that fighting is not too fun. And the OGs were not a big fan of the game back then because the skeleton trooper got added back into the game, and people were not too big fans of that for the OGs. Now let's get right into the next one. Coming in next, we have Season 7. Now at the start of the season, it looked like it was going to be a pretty interesting season. It looked like it was going to be pretty good. There was a map got hugely changed with all the ice and polar, and Happy got added in, and it just looked super interesting, as well as the gun wraps, and it made it look pretty fun. Unfortunately, there was also a couple things that weren't too fun in the game, and yes, I'm talking about the Stormwing, which a ton of people just absolutely hated this vehicle, even more than the balls. If you're good in the Stormwing, you could absolutely destroy people, not only in pubs, but also scrims. It was just absolutely clapping people. Even in the competitive Fortnite games, like actual tournaments, the Stormwing was a huge meta, and everyone would try and land on planes if they could. You could literally survive in a plane almost all game and get like top 10 easily without even having a gun or anything like that, as well as the huge mistake Fortnite did which was adding the Infinity Sword before it was actually tested, and they even had to make a response about it on Twitter and apologize for adding it in. Not only was it super bad in pubs and scrims, but also inside of Fortnite actual main tournament, the tournament they hosted, there was the Infinity Sword, which was added in the day before the tournament, so no one had any idea how good it was going to be, and it turns out it was just extremely overpowered. Coming in next, we have Season 8, which I honestly thought wasn't a great season, wasn't a bad season. It was just kind of a little bit stale. There wasn't anything that cool. Sure, there was a volcano and a little bit of the changing the maps, as well as the pirate cannons, which honestly wasn't even that big. No one really used them that often. The map changes were pretty cool. No one really liked it too much. Like the volcano was an interesting addition, but it wasn't that like big. No one really lands there or anything like that. The big cool part was the ballers that everyone, again, like I said, loved at first. And in competitive, people were pretty frustrated, but in pubs, normally people kind of do like the ballers. And I thought the geysers, which were really cool, they're kind of like the rifts. They're all across the top of the map. And it was just really nice for mobility and moving around and stuff. I really enjoyed the geysers, and unfortunately they took out a lot of them in Season 9. But there's still a couple left, and I think they're pretty cool. But yeah, there wasn't too much about Season 8 that was good or bad. Big props to the Peely skin getting put out. That's actually probably the highlight of all of Season 8. Now coming in for our top 3 best seasons, at number 3 we have, I guess, Season 3. And now this had one of the least amount of changes to the map, which honestly was a good thing because it allowed people to kind of get more in tune with the game, practice their building, practicing their play, actually landing somewhere where they decided they want to land for kind of 2 seasons, like Season 2 and Season 3. And it was actually just a pretty fun time to play. This is when the game started to blow up. Season 3/Season 4 is when the game actually started to get pretty big. And Season 3 is when we started seeing pros like Ninja, etc., stuff like that. We also did have the addition of the infantry rifle as well as a deagle, which are pretty big in today's game. They're pretty cool, as well as a now vaulted guided missile, which just went through so many balance changes. I don't even want to get into it. It was good, it was bad, it was good, it was bad, whatever. But this also kind of started off this storyline of all of Fortnite with one of pretty big Fortnite event, which was the comet hitting Dusty Depot, as well as taking out my boys' actual factories, which is a big L. But besides that, it was a pretty good season. I think it was one of my favorite seasons, honestly. Now coming in at number 2, we have, again, kind of works perfectly, is Season 2. Now, this probably had the most liked battle pass of all time. It was 75 tiers only, and once you got to that, you got the infamous Black Knight. There's also the pretty cool Sparkling Specialist, which is definitely an OG skin nowadays, as well as the infamous Rust Lord and Take the L dance, as well as the Floss. So this battle pass was absolutely beautiful. Everyone loved it. It was probably, like I said, the best battle pass of all time. Besides that, though, there was a little bit of a map changes like Snobby Shores, Junk Junctions, Shifty Shafts, such like that was added. And now one of the well, I guess not now in Season 9, but one of the biggest maps of all time, or additions to the map, was Tilted Towers. Unfortunately, Tilted is gone now, but back then, biggest probably map change of all time was the addition of Tilted Towers. And like I said, Season 2/Season 3 is when this game actually started getting pretty popular and started getting picked up. Coming in at number 1, which personally I think is the best season in Fortnite, is Season 4. Now, there's a bunch of cool things that was added in this Season 4. The first one was the Hop Rocks, which obviously after Dusty got destroyed, there's comments all around, and creators, as well as Dusty itself, had a bunch of Hop Rocks spawning, which allowed for some crazy trick shots, even some pretty cool build fights, as well as kills. So definitely a fun thing to kind of play around with, and they're also super good for rotation. We also, like I said, had the building inside of Dusty Divot, which kind of looked like a lab factory, and it was changing every single week. So it was super, super cool to watch it evolve and change every single week with the addition of plants, trees, everything like that. It was super, super cool to watch. Also, we had the Fortnite Rocket event, which was absolutely by far the biggest Fortnite event, personally, from my experience, and it definitely looked the dopest. And yeah, so hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Again, if you do agree with me, leave it down in the comments. If you don't, let me know what your favorite lists would be. Also, let me know what your best and worst Fortnite seasons are. And yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you smash that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I hope you guys all have a good day. See you guys.